Nigeria and the people therein, then this is where we're having lockdown. On the program, we look at the various headlines from our major dailies. And of course, we converse, not just converse, hit any point of, having a kind of nation that we are proud of, whatever it will take us. Whoever is, saddled with responsibility, all of us must come together and make this nation work. This is what we do here, Mondays through Fridays. Femi Ojo is my name, and of course, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to today's program. This day, 26th, Thursday, 26th of June, 2025. You're welcome. So I like to say Karo, I like to say Nakwana, I like to say Ututuoma, I like to say Migwa, for our people in Delta, some part of Delta. And of course, when I well don't know, now good morning. Good morning. So how do I greet you, Daniel? Ututuoma, right? Yeah. In the Nigerian language.
Okay, Nigerian language, anyone actually. Yeah. My own dialect, I was just trying to remember
your dialect. Interesting.
I have a special dialect.
All right.
Usually, mine is not.
Well, good morning will be good, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right. Thank you.
And of course, all our viewers from all over the world, good morning. It's a beautiful Thursday morning here in Nigeria. Of course, you are. Thank you once again for joining us in Morning Spring. This is what television, live, bringing you the best news and possible analysis that you think. All right. I'll be for a break now. When we return, please stay with us.
Character in history.
Thank you for joining us once again. This is Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and it gives me great pleasure to have you join us once again. Emeka Daniel is my name. And of course, good morning, Femi.
Thank you. Good morning. And, time is of essence this morning. We just go straight to the papers. Of course, time is always of essence. It runs.
Absolutely.
It appears like it's running too much on this program. And so many things have happened, but then we must just get to it. The newspapers segment is next. This is where we look at various headlines from our major dailies, and we will be starting with the Daily Trust newspaper. Daily Trust. Soldiers, bandits in bloody clash in Niger. Many feared dead. It has been a very fierce battle in the past 2 days. In fact, last 3 days across Zamfara in Niger State as well, where some gallant men were lost. While they are trying to defend their fatherland. And these are the issues. So we salute them. It's those that survived the attack and those that are dead. You guys are the real MVP. But we should, get more fierce, with these criminals trying to take over our land. Soldiers, bandits in bloody clash in Niger. Many feared dead. You can see the remains of a motorcycle being destroyed during the attack on a military base at Kwananduse, Mariga, local government of Niger State, on Tuesday. And, we usually talk about the audacity of these criminals. These one, they had a run at a military camp, not just meeting them on the road or an ambush. They went for, an attack in those military camps. So they were repelled. Unfortunately, we lost some soldiers. And PDP, 11 NWC members disown Damagum, reject Anyawu's restatement. Big trouble in Little China continues. And 5 arrested over death of 2 Kano youths. Landmine explosion kills 4 in just 10 in Borno. We just pray we are not back to this era of explosives. going off almost everywhere. And PDP chieftain's son shot dead in Kwara. Terrible, terrible news. And Tinubu to sign tax reform bills today. We await the landmark bills, those landmark bills rather, 4 of them. And party registration, ADA obedience among 110 applicants, INEC. All right, and running mate, I will do whatever Tinubu wants in 2027, but I'll... Hey, this is like projecting, and saying, okay, look my side.
Yeah, that's another way of saying it.
These are the issues. Okay, that will be all from the Daily Transport today.
Now we move straight to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, rather. 2027, we have 110 associations for party registration. That's according to INEC. So far, they've received 110 letters of intent, including one from Afrobeat legend son, Seun Kuti,
right,
and of course also the Obedient People's Party, and so many other. But some of them are not quite, should I say, they're not quite meticulous enough. There was a particular one, 3 political parties, 3 different names, the same logo, the same address in Cuba, Abuja. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It seems some people just want to just flood INEC office with their registration requests, and so far we have 110.
I'm sure INEC will have a way of dealing with that. If actually your color is the same, the lettering is the same, the logo is the same, well, they will have to ask for who registered firstly.
Yeah, absolutely.
As an organization.
Yeah. And the particular letter also came with no logo. So INEC has quite a lot to deal with, talking about receiving 110 letters of intent from associations seeking registration as political parties in Nigeria. Away from that, moving on to other stories, still on the front page of Nigerian Tribune, we have PDP crisis gets messier, 5 days to 100th NEC meeting. PDP crisis gets messier, 5 days to 100th NEC meeting, with riders. Acting National Chairman postpones June 30 NEC meeting. We also have reinstates Ayaun as National Secretary. 11 NWC members counter Damagum over Ayaun NEC meeting. Still talking about the crisis in the PDP. You can read up details of that story on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. I was never arrested by EFCC over alleged $7.2 billion fraud. That's according to ex-NNPC CFO. I was never arrested by NNPC over alleged $7.2 billion fraud. You'll find that story on page 25, which was widely reported that the former CFO, Chief Financial Officer of NNPC, was actually arrested. Now he's refuting those claims, saying he was never arrested. You might want to find out details on page 25. Away from that, 17 soldiers killed, 10 others injured in battle with terrorists in Niger. And that's according to the Chief of Defense Staff. 17 soldiers killed, 10 others injured in battle with terrorists in Niger. With riders, military deploys 800 special forces to combat insecurity. You find details of that story on page 5. And that'll be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
All right. The Nigerian Tribune has those stories. Then the Punch is next. The Punch for today has these. The Punch, NEC crisis, Makinde block revolts as INEC verdicts tears PDP apart. NEC crisis, Makinde block revolts as INEC verdict tears PDP apart. Okay. Damagum Saraki, back Wiki, allies return. Council June 30 NEC, pro-Makinde NWC governance protest. So much for the PDP. NEC crisis, Makinde block. So you have the Makinde block. You have the Wiki block.
Absolutely.
What other blocks do we have? Do they have there?
Anyway, Wiki has accused Makinde of sabotage, and
that's true. That's true.
And that was
always
watching your drama.
Agreement.
Yeah. Yes, but again, yesterday when the news first came in, I thought they've actually solved their problems. When I saw that Samuel Ayang has been reinstated as national secretary, but all of a sudden, 11 members of the National Working Committee that's marking this faction are kicking against it. So now the crisis still persists. But again, if we have a national chairman and a national secretary, I think they might just go ahead. INEC might just decide to honor their meeting this time.
Well, the issue is which national secretary?
The one INEC recognizes.
Who? The INEC is not.
Of course. No,
it's not in the place of INEC to recognize anyone.
Well,
to say this is who we want to work with.
No, according to the party's constitution, INEC believes Samuel Ayang is still the national secretary unless replaced constitutionally by the party. So that's the point.
So much, you know. When I say big trouble in little China, this is exactly what I'm saying. And you will think maybe PDP as a party, they are home and dry, especially with the recent meetings that they've had. And as far as that secretaryship is concerned, but it seems it's far away. And now that we're having different blocks, Wiki block.
Well, I think the major problem here is that this Ayang is actually loyal to Wiki. I think that's where the problem is. So they still see him as a Wiki figure. That's why some members...
Damagun works for Wiki as well. These are the issues. So the most powerful block, you know, is the one that we are... Now, the issue is, which one is the people's block?
That's the point. No block.
You know, so much to really talk about, because it's about who is here, who is there, who will be here, who is taking what. And by the way, these two people, that's Wiki and Makinde, they used to be brothers.
Absolutely.
They call themselves the Integrity Brothers. What has happened to the Integrity now? And Ikwazu and Samuel Otom, I think with one other person. So what has happened to those blocks that we used to know right now? So nobody even know where Samuel Otom belongs, actually.
That's one thing about power.
I'm telling you. 8 years of being governor.
Right.
And in less than 2 years, you are not that seen again. I think last time I saw him was at the Benue, the president's visit to Benue, and then some other meetings at Wiki's, you know, commissioning. 17 days, 2 weeks and 3 days of commissioning. Or 3 days. All right. Now, still looking at what the Nigerian Tribune, the Punch rather, has for us. Top strip, ex-generals flag intelligence failure as bandits kill 17 soldiers. Ex-generals flag intelligence failure as bandits kill 17 soldiers. Intelligence.
As it is coming from ex-generals now. I've always talked about...
say intelligence, one thing, actionable intelligence is another. Taking action on those reports is another.
Well, thank God it's coming from...
But that's why we should have the NSA.
It's coming from ex-generals now.
The NSA should be the one coordinating the affairs of security in this nation.
Absolutely. Intelligence has been failing in Nigeria. I kept saying it. Some security experts will say, no, they have intelligence. They are not allowing them to act on it. But thank God this time it's coming from ex-generals. It's not Emeka Daniel saying it now. That intelligence is failing. There is intelligence failure. Now we have 17 soldiers reported, killed. Rest assured that the figure might actually be way more than that. Because again, officially, they just try to downplay, just not to cause tension in the society. So if ex-generals are saying intelligence is failing, I think they should take it seriously.
All right, that will be all from the Punch newspaper. And by the way, today is a very important day. It is known as the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. On the 6th of June every year is when that day today is, you know, commemorated. And we will be talking about that, especially, you know, illicit drug in Nigeria, drug abuse. You know, and when we talk about drug abuse, many will think it's the, you know, the hard drugs. How about even illegal medications that people in Nigeria abuse, you know, for ignorance sake, for lack of proper orientation or education or, you know, tradition and all of those things? We'll look into that. We have professionals speak with us. And the issue, because it's quite connected, drug abuse and trafficking, drug abuse and violence, drug abuse and insecurity, drug abuse and poverty. We'll look into that as well in the first leg of today's conversation. It's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Stay with us.